Following last week's video on the game Pong, this week was to get the paddles, ball and a score on the screen. When the ball passed the paddles, it would update the score of the player. We decided to upgrade to a larger screen, which is the SSD 1306. On the left we have the Arduino IDE. On the right we have the Proteus simulation with the SSD 1306 screen included. On the left, from top to bottom, we have our Adafruit library SSD 1306, which was used. The define pins for the Arduino, to define variables noting game state 0 and game state 2, our controller variables, paddle position for player 1, player 2, score, player 1, player 2, ball x, ball y for the x and y axis, and our ball speed for x and y axis, our define variables for the screen width and screen height, our declaration of the pins used from the Arduino to the SSD 1306. Next we move on to our setup, where we declare our address used for the SSD 1306. Next we move on to our loop with the analog read pins for controller 1, controller 2, paddle position 1, paddle position 2. Next we move on to game state 0, where if it's a game state 0, we'll start by drawing the field for score 1 for player 1, score 2 for player 2. Next we move on to our collision control function, and then our draw ball function. Moving down, we clear our display. Next we move on to our winner screen, which is a game state 2. Moving down, we see the draw field for score player 1, score player 2. If it's score player 1 is equal to 5, then it'll display winner player 1. If score player 2 is equal to 5, it'll display winner player 2. Next we clear the screen. Move down to our draw field function again, where we draw the paddles, player 1 and player 2. Next we move down, we draw the score, score 1 and score 2. Moving down, we declare the size of the screen for the ball on the Y and X axis. If the ball moves past the X axis, left or right, it'll score a point for player 1 or player 2. Moving down, we can see that if score player 1 is equal to 5 or score player 2 is equal to 5, then we're in game state 2, which is our winner screen, which is above. Next move down to our paddles. Again, if the ball moves off the screen on the x-axis, whether it's 0 or 1 to 8, which is player 2, it'll score a point for player 1 or player 2. Move down to our ball speed, which keeps the constant speed of the ball. Moving down to our draw ball size. Again, fill in the rectangle, 221 is the size of our ball. If we compile our code, and again, take our hex file, copy it in to our properties in our Arduino. Run the simulation. We can see the paddles and the score on the screen. If we move one of the paddles out of the way, it'll give a score for player 2. When it reaches 5, it'll say winner player 2. We start the code again and move the player 2 paddle out of the way. It'll say winner player 1 when it reaches 5. This shows the simulation is working in full.